The Chicago Bulls make it back-to-back wins as they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 120-115. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's win. And so before we go ahead and we jump into it, I first want to remind you to slam dunk on that subscribe button, just like Modest Buzelis slam dunks in games. And so in exchange for slamming on that subscribe button, I'm going to give you nothing but daily content around the Chicago Bulls. And so make sure that you hit that like, you hit that subscribe, and you join the Chicago Bulls Insider family as we talk nothing but Chicago Bulls basketball. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into it as we are talking about the key takeaways from tonight's win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And so I always like to start with the points that describe this game, and I just have one point for this game. This was a wild game in which the Chicago Bulls found a way to get the win. And so, look, I think that this was a wild game because, number one, the Bulls got off to a slow start, and yet again, the bench was able to help the Chicago Bulls get back into the game. And so that's something that we continue to talk about with the Chicago Bulls is the fact that the bench has played very strong and carried this team at times, and it certainly carried them tonight as it was able to get the team back in the game in the second quarter where they were able to take their first lead of the game, I believe, in the second. Next, for the Chicago Bulls and the Minnesota Timberwolves, the foul calls out there were very interesting. And so I thought that it was a good thing that it worked out for the Chicago Bulls, but I thought that was another reason why I felt like this was a wild game. And then lastly, in the fourth quarter, both teams went cold. And so the Bulls, they went on a 5-minute drought before they had a field goal. And then you had the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think that they went on almost a 4-minute drought before they got a field goal. And so, look, I thought that the Bulls were not going to be able to pull it out because of that drought. And it looked like the Timberwolves were going to go ahead, seize the momentum and take it. But then they got cold and the Bulls were able to go out and just pull a gritty win out of this one. And so you got to give them credit as they were able to close down the game 16-5. And so a solid, gritty win for the Chicago Bulls. And so next, I wanted to go ahead and jump into just the player box score here. And so we're going to take a look at the starters first before we get into the bench. And so starting with Coby White. And so look, Coby White, I think that over the last couple games, he's starting to feel it here. I think that you could tell that he's starting to move a lot better and maybe starting to get over those calf injuries finally. Now, he had 22 points. He was a +6 in the plus-minus box score. He did have 4 turnovers, the 4 assists in this game, the 4 rebounds. He was 7 of 9 from the free throw line, 3 of 10 from downtown, and 6 of 16 from the field in 30 minutes. And so, look, I just think that the key with Coby White is that you are seeing him just continue to keep grinding away, trying to, just turn the season around because it has been a bit of an up and down type of, season for him because of the Cavs. And so I like that. And that's what I love about Coby White is that he continues to show that confidence. He's going to have to cut down the turnovers. I think that that's something that he has certainly struggled with here. And so hopefully as his rhythm continues to come back, we will see him play a little bit more efficiently with the turnovers and things like that. But a strong game there for the Bulls. And so next, another performer here that we have to talk about in the starting lineup is Modest Buzelis. And so, look, I loved Modest Buzelis and what he did tonight. And so I know he didn't get to the 15 points. He's coming off a hot game against the Los Angeles Clippers. But in this one, 12 points. He was a +1 in the plus-minus box score. You see that he didn't have any turnovers. He had 1 steal. He had 3 assists, 6 rebounds. He was 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He also was 2 of 3 from deep and 3 of 8 from the field in 28 minutes. And so with Modest Buzelis, I thought that he had some terrific defensive sequences on Anthony Edwards. And you got to give the Bulls a lot of credit, too, because I think that they did make it tough. And also, too, I think with the foul calls and stuff like that certainly made it tough on the Timberwolves. But still, not to take anything away from Modest Buzelis, man, he continues to just show us growth here in year number 2. And he had a terrific dunk in the open court that was amazing. He shifts hands and dunks the basketball. And so Modest Buzelis, man, continues to show his signs as he's going to be a bright spot for the Chicago Bulls as they continue to build out this team. And so next, another players that we have to talk about here is Jalen Smith. And so Jalen Smith continues to play strong. And every time we see Jalen Smith play this season, you just wonder, how did he not get playing time last season? Because he's really come on strong. 17 points, a 5 in the plus minus box score. He did have 1 turnover as well. He had 1 steal, 4 rebounds, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 of 4 from downtown, and 6 of 9 from the field in 27 minutes. He had a very strong fourth quarter of play. I love the nice little cut that he had, and Josh Giddey, I believe, finds him for a nice dunk as well. But still, I just love what we are seeing from Jalen Smith and this double big lineup. And so hopefully he can continue to play this way, because the Bulls, man, they certainly have something here. He's on a great contract too. And so Jalen Smith, man, continues to play well. And so that's good to see for the Bulls. And so next, with Nikola Vucevic. And so Vooch, look, only 10 points in this game. He was a -6 in the plus minus box score, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 of 4 from deep, and 3 of 10 from the field in 31 minutes. And so with Vooch today, I thought that he was a bit more perimeter based, and I kind of understand that because he was pulling Rudy away from the basket. It was just at times the Bulls were a little stagnant there and not cutting off of that. And so normally I talk about Vooch, just being on the perimeter a bit too much. But in today's game, I think I totally understand that, where you're trying to pull the shot blocker out of there. And so the Bulls got to do a little bit better job as far as just getting some more cutting and movement that way. And so next, talking about Isaac Okoro. And so with Isaac Okoro, I thought that he played tough today, because there was one sequence where Isaac Okoro misses a 3-point shot at the top of the key, and then he comes right back, and I think he hits a corner 3-point shot. And so it's just the toughness that Isaac Okoro continues to show, because there's a lot of nights where it's just not going his way offensively, but he never stops as far as competing on the defensive end and just doing the little things and stuff like that, which is what I really appreciate with Isaac Okoro, because a lot of times offensively, if it's not going well for a player, they just simply throw in the towel. That is not Isaac Okoro. And so in tonight's game, he got double figures with the 10 points, a -6 in the plus minus box score. He had a steal. He had 5 rebounds. He had an assist. He was 2 of 4 from downtown, 3 of 7 from the field in 26 minutes. And so just appreciate the scrappy play that we get from him. Next, talking about this bench, and we have got to start about Josh Giddey. So he was not the lead in this one, but we certainly had to start with him, because Josh Giddey, man, he had a heck of a game. And so Josh Giddey returns to the Chicago Bulls, and he just felt like he never missed a beat, because 12 points in 7 minutes. He finished with 18 at the half. And Josh Giddey was there down the stretch for the Chicago Bulls. And so just a terrific performance for Josh Giddey. And so in this game, Josh Giddey coming off the bench with 21 points, a +2 in the plus minus box score, 2 steals. He had 5 assists, 6 rebounds. He was 7 of 9 from the free throw line, 0 of 3 from deep, and he also was 7 of 13 from the field in 26 minutes. And so just really, I loved what I saw from Josh Giddey coming back in his first game. He was fearless out there, made some terrific passes and things like that. And also, too, only 2 turnovers today. And so Josh Giddey, pretty efficient there. And so next, talking about the bench, we have got to also talk about Tre Jones, because he was huge for the Bulls down the stretch in this game. In fact, it was his sequence of plays that sealed it for the Bulls. He got a steal, which was his 50th of the season to lead the Bulls. He also had a tough play where it was essentially, it was given to him, and he had the option to do a dribble handoff, excuse me. And what he does is I call it the Draymond Green play, because this is something that Golden State often runs with him, where he fakes the handoff and then he turns on his defender and gets to the rim for a layup. And that's exactly what Tre Jones did. So that's what we talk about with Tre Jones often. When you hear me talk about basketball IQ, that is exactly what Tre Jones shows. And so 12 points, a +9 in the plus minus box score, 7 assists in this game. He also had 3 rebounds. He was 1 of 2 from the 3-point line and 5 of 7 from the field in 27 minutes. Again, I will say it with Tre Jones. He, to me, might be the steal of the offseason as far as just free agent signings. Like, I really think that Tre Jones continues to play that well. And so next, looking at the bench some more, another player that, look, he didn't have the biggest night as far as scoring the basketball, but it was Ayo Dosunmu. And so I liked what we saw from Ayo Dosunmu. Once again, we continue to see the toughness with him, knocking down the 3 ball as well. I believe he's top 4, I believe, in the NBA, they were saying, with the percentage that he's shooting at about 46%. So 8 points in this game. He did have the 2 personal fouls in this game. He also had 3 assists. He had 4 rebounds. He had, he was 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 2 of 5 from deep, and 2 of 9 from the field in 22 minutes. And so some strong play from Ayo Dosunmu. Next up, Patrick Williams. So Patrick Williams knocked down a very nice 3-point shot off some good ball movement. He also would score again there. And so 5 points, a +9 in the plus-minus box score, 3 rebounds, 1 of 1 from deep, 2 of 3 from the field in 16 minutes for Patrick Williams. And so Kevin Huerter, not his night tonight, 3 points, a +5, a 1 of 3 from downtown, 1 of 4 from the field in 8 minutes. And so look, Kevin Huerter, he's been battling, through some little, tough injuries and stuff like that. I know he's been battling, with just the abductor and all that stuff like that, but still he continues to fight through. And so Kevin Huerter wasn't his night tonight, but we know Kevin Huerter brings it off the bench every time or starting. So Kevin Huerter, just a tough one. And so next, I wanted to go ahead and jump into the team box score. And so, I think that the first thing for the Chicago Bulls that stands out with the team box score has got to be the bench scoring. And so they outscore the Timberwolves in this game 50-28. And so that just goes into the first point that I made at the top of this video, is that the Chicago Bulls, man, were tough off the bench, and this bench is real, and strength in numbers is very real for this Chicago Bulls team. And so next, just taking a look here, at some other stuff, and starting with the field goal percentage here for the Bulls. And so the Bulls shot 44% from this game, so that is not bad at all. So we will take that. So the Chicago Bulls finding ways to be pretty efficient, I think, there from the field. Then next for the Chicago Bulls, as far as the three-point shooting tonight, 44% for that. The Minnesota Timberwolves, 37%. Then when it came down to the free throws, this is what I was talking about earlier as far as just the free throws and just the foul calls. And so 27-33 with the free throw attempts, 82% for the Chicago Bulls. And so got to capitalize on these free throws. 14 of 15 for the Minnesota Timberwolves, 93%. And so again, they just did not get the calls in their favor tonight. 43-45, the Timberwolves lead in the rebounds. And then when you look at the assists, 29-28 with the assists, the Timberwolves there, 7-6 with the steals for the Bulls, 12 of 14 for the turnovers. And so 14 turnovers there for the Timberwolves, 12 here for the Bulls. And then when you look at the fast break points, 44 for the Timberwolves to 40 of the Bulls, and then 27 foul calls there. So 27 foul calls on the Timberwolves compared to the 18 for the Chicago Bulls. Largest lead for the Timberwolves, 14. Bulls' largest lead was 7. And so just a gritty win for the Chicago Bulls as they were able to come back after a tough start and really just overcome the fact that they go cold there in the fourth quarter, and that the Timberwolves just really looked like that they had seized control of this game. And so the Bulls easily could have packed it in. They did not. So you got to give them a ton of credit. So the Bulls have the Boston Celtics coming up on Saturday. And so you guys let me know in the comments here, what is your key takeaway from tonight's game? Again, the Bulls get a back-to-back win as they beat the Los Angeles Clippers. Didn't get a chance to get to the post game on that one, but made sure we got to this one here. So you guys let me know. We will be talking some more about the Chicago Bulls and just really the ongoing trade rumors that continue to just circle this team as we get ready to head into the NBA trade deadline, along with just more signs of growth for the Bulls. And so let's see what they can do and see if they can build upon this momentum. And so anyway, as we always say, go Bulls, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.